So this camera here, this is the OBSBot Meet Flip. I honestly thought they were done with small webcams after their OBSBot Meet 2, but this thing is insane. So the price point you're looking at for the OBSBot Meet Flip is around about $119 at the time of this video, and this camera packs an absolute punch for the size and price point. It supports 4K 30 FPS output and can even do 1080p at 60 FPS. For all you streamers out there. It's got 4 different microphone modes as well, which OBSBot are calling their intelligent dual mic system. It also supports AI auto framing, meaning that you're always picture perfect inside your frame, and also supports the gesture controls as well, like the other products on the OBSBot lineup. Another nice feature of this is the fact that it's got a nice foldable design, meaning that if you do want privacy, you can close the camera, but if you do actually want to open it up and use it, it will not function until this here is actually flipped up. This thing is freaking awesome. It also features a nice little handy bracket that you can fold out and place on top of your monitor as well. But however, if you're using, say for example, a ball head system or a tripod elsewhere, you do have the nice little 1/4 inch screw on the bottom of this thing as well. It features a 1/2 inch CMOS sensor with a 1.8 aperture and also an ISO range of 100 to 6400. So if you do need to boost up like the low lighting scenarios, you can do so. However, this camera also supports HDR, so you shouldn't really need to tweak that too much. On the back of the device as well, you've just got your USB-C input. It also supports Switch 2 as well, which is very nice, considering the fact is that like Switch 2, the camera itself, the quality of the default one that comes with the console from Nintendo isn't exactly the best. On the front here as well, you've got the camera itself, and you've also got the microphone as well for picking up on the front, especially for your like directional mode. But on the back as well, you will also see another microphone at the back too. I'm not sure if this is for microphone cancellation, or if this is much more for like your omnidirectional kind of microphone features of this device. Speaking of the microphone, what does it sound like? So this is an example of exactly what the camera sounds like when it's in its pure audio mode. Like I said, this is meant to be kind of like much more like a stereo left and right mode, which is very kind of cool to have on a webcam like this. This is a smart omni mode. Basically, it'll capture everything around the camera. So if people are in the room behind the camera, it should be able to pick up on them as well. It's very much a multi-directional kind of mode on the camera as well. Here's an example of the directional mode. This is much more of a hypercardioid kind of pattern on the webcam itself. So if you are in front of the camera, it really should be focusing on exactly where your voice is. And finally, this is the dual directional mode. This means that if there is 2 people within the setting of the camera, it should be picking up on them automatically. If they're like to the left and to the right of the camera, it will automatically focus the microphone exactly where they are. So if I'm over to the left, this should focus a lot more on me here. And if I'm over on the right, this should then also focus a lot more on me here. However, if you are streaming, I would highly recommend sticking to the directional mode if you are not using an external microphone. As always, I'm not fully convinced about the quality of the microphone on this device. Webcam microphones are always give or take. I would definitely recommend if you are streaming with this thing to use an actual external microphone, whether that be USB or XLR. However, on the go for business conferencing, or if you are streaming on the go, I would highly recommend using the directional mode for this device, just because it's so much more direct, it's so much more clearer, and it's better than any of the other 3 modes that you get with this webcam. I found the gesture controls work out the box, no problem at all. Like literally the second I plugged this thing in, I could see that the light was purple on the device, and it basically showed me that it was an auto framing mode. When that is switched off, the light will be green. However, it will flash if you do the zoom in at the exact same time. But yeah, let's see what the quality of this thing is like, and let's see what the software offers you up to be able to control this with. So here we are. This is what will happen when you load up the software for the first time. After you've connected your webcam, it will then pop up onto the actual console mode of the software. So at the top here, we've got our auto framing. You've got your different modes as well, which is like your group mode. So if you are in a large group, say for example, if you're in a meeting, or if you have some people behind the camera as well, this will make sure that people are always included in that framing. You then have upper body. This can be handy if you're using it as a presentation. And we've also got a single close-up as well. This can be very handy too if it's only just you and you're kind of moving around as well. You got your different presets here as well, which can allow you to turn auto framing on and off at a click of a button, or through a hotkey, or even better, through a Stream Deck. Obviously, we don't have a gimbal built into this camera. It is a static webcam, unlike other OBSBot products out there. So we can't really change anything to do with that. However, we can change the zoom when the auto framing is actually disabled. So if you wanted to start zooming it in, you would be able to do that. Next here on the options, we have our image. Now, this is where you can enable HDR. So, for example, if you're in a low lighting scenario, this can bring up all the kind of low end side of things in terms of the blacks and whatnot on your camera. This can bring it all up and actually make it look a lot cleaner and crisper. We've got our autofocus mode as well. You can choose this to be either global, so all around you, or just be focused on your face, just in case, like I said, if you're in a group setting or if you're in an environment where you want everything to be in focus, you can kind of have that as the kind of autofocus mode for that. Auto exposure as well. I've got this set up currently on the auto exposure. However, if you do know exactly what it is that your camera is going to be set at, say for example, if you do actually use like a mirrorless camera or DSLR, you can actually configure this in the exact same way. We've got our shutter speed, we've got our ISO. So basically your ISO is kind of your fake light. So if you want to bring it up a little bit more, you can do so and it can make the room a lot brighter, or you can bring it down and it's less noisy. The higher the ISO is, the more noisy your image is going to get. And your shutter speed as well. So for example, if you lower this down, the image will be a lot smoother, but when you bring this up, you're going to kind of get those trails basically in terms of, in comparison to what your FPS is, this kind of always has to be double what your FPS is set at. And on top of that as well, you got your exposure curve, which is actually a very nice touch because I find a lot of webcam softwares don't add this in. And for someone that does videoing on the side and for my YouTube videos, having this being able to control your exposure curve is very nice. Whereas, for example, you can bring down the kind of the blacks and everything that as well, and then increase like the highs as well, the whites and everything too. You can really kind of mess around with that how exactly you want it to be. However, for this video, we're just going to stick with auto exposure. We then have our anti-flicker. This is for stuff to do with, for example, your background lighting as well, and like the lightings in the studio, just to make sure it doesn't get the flicker on that. We then have our white balance. So say, for example, if you're in a room that's maybe a little bit too blue, if the lighting is a little bit too blue, if you don't have control over the warmth of your lights, you can actually change this around and kind of choose exactly how it is. For example, we can go a little bit more green tinted, we can go a little bit more pink if we wanted to, and blue as well. You can choose whether or not to be auto. So with it being auto, you can kind of just mess this around and bring it to exactly what you think it is. However, when you don't have it on auto, you've got your temperature adjustment here, which is kind of like your Kelvin. For example, 5500 kelvins is generally, or 5600 is round about where natural sunlight is. And also on top of that as well, you can choose what your RGB is in terms of the greens and the greens and yellows and purples and blues. So I would definitely, yeah. You can mess around with it, you choose exactly how you want to use this thing, but I'll just stick to auto for now. And down at the bottom, we've got your general other controls too, which is your contrast, saturation, sharpness, and hue. Contrast, basically like how deep you kind of want the blacks to go and bringing up the lights as well. However, I generally don't tend to touch this as much because the technology inside OBSBot software is very, very good. Also on top of that as well, I've just realized I've just disabled auto framing through a hand gesture there. So that's all the kind of image kind of sides of, in terms of configuration, what you can do with this software. If we go into more now, we can then, this is where you can choose whether or not to have your gesture controls on or off. The OBSBot family basically always has a AI tracking kind of gesture kind of automation inside of it. So for example, right now I've got auto framing off. So if I sit here and move away from the camera, it's not going to do anything about it because it's not trying to auto frame me into the camera. But if I turn this on, the light just indicated that. If I move away now, you can see it. There we go. And then when we come back in, it comes back in like that. And this is without a gimbal, by the way. So that automatic tracking is literally just zooming into your image. It goes up to 4 times. It literally just tracks you round about your room or your environment that you're in. We also have our zoom gesture control as well. However, this is disabled if auto framing is on. So we'll disable auto framing right now. And then we'll zoom in to the desired amount. And this will just kind of go to the pinpoint of exactly where it is on the in the middle of the camera. So for example, now if I enable auto framing and then I try to zoom, it will flash, but it won't actually do it because we have auto framing enabled. Down here at the bottom, we have got our audio mode as well. So we've got our different microphone modes, which is like pure audio mode, smart omni mode, directional mode, dual directional mode. Now, pure audio mode basically breaks this out to left and right factors in terms of your audio device. Smart omni mode is, it'll just kind of pick up everything in the room. It'll just go all around the microphone. And then you got your directional mode as well, which basically is much more focused, is much more like a hypercardioid pattern that will just come straight to you. And dual directional mode will basically be, if for example you got two people on the microphone, it'll try and pick this up. I'm always a wee bit iffy in terms of how microphones sound on cameras, but you'll hear what it's like in this video, so make the judgment for yourself. Obviously, I'm using a professional microphone here to talk into you for this part of the video. Down here as well, we've got Switch 2 mode, so this camera is compatible with the Switch 2. We also have mirror image, so if you click on that, it will then flip the image side to side. This is handy, especially if you want like the writing to be the correct way around, especially like there's sometimes your software may not allow you to be able to mirror the camera the way you'd want it to as well. Indicator status 2 is basically the light on the camera. If you want to be able to see exactly what mode it's in, for example, it'll be pink if it's in auto framing mode, it'll be in green if it's not, and it'll flash pink as well when you're using it in the zooming mode as well. Down here we got restore factory settings, a manual upgrade, export log and feedback, and also your firmware version as well. You'll also have an option in here, for example, when there is a new firmware version available. So what do I make of this thing? I'm actually blown away by the fact is that something this small, with this small of a footprint in your setup, can have such a impact in terms of the quality of your camera. Now, I will probably be including this in my studio setup somewhere in here, especially if it is a different webcam, say for example, maybe even in my DJ streams, might be able to get a different angle on that. The build quality of this product is pretty solid. I find that the hinges and for the flip out for the actual camera itself is very sturdy. They're not loose at all. They don't they're not stiff or anything like that too. I can easily switch this on and off all I need to, and the actual bracket for holding onto your screen has got nice rubber pads on the bottom, so you can easily put this onto any monitor without any cause. I've used it on my curved monitor as well, and I've had no issue with that at whatsoever. The one thing which I do want to say as well is the fact is, like, because this is made by OBSBot, you are able to control this too as a streamer on your Stream Deck. The other cool thing is the fact is too, is if you have that, say for example, you could have different zoom levels on your presets, you would actually be able to allow your chat to control what this does through, for example, software like Atom, which has the NCP automation with the Stream Deck functionality, allowing your chat to do that through channel points or their chat. But yeah, no, this thing is absolutely solid. I mean, in terms of this comparison to the Meet 2, I would definitely be having a look at this one a little bit more. Like I said, the footprint of the thing is just absolutely minuscule. It's nothing that you will even notice in your setup. The Meet 2, also the bottom of it is magnetic. You do have that separate bracket, whereas this thing is all built in. I mean, OBSBot just keep knocking it out of the park in terms of their small webcams. This thing, like, honestly, like you can hold it in the palm of your hand, and it is absolutely ridiculous in terms of the size of this thing. Like, you can hold this, like, and people wouldn't even notice that this was a webcam, especially when it's all compact and all put away. Yeah, 100%. If you're looking for a webcam with a decent image quality that's not going to take up a lot of space, that plugs in, works out the bat, and has some very nice configurable options on it, yeah, I mean, this thing is just stupidly crazy. This thing is freaking awesome. Honestly, I can't go over how OBSBot keep like knocking it out the park with their webcams. It's probably my favorite camera that OBSBot have come out with that isn't a gimbal based camera. And yeah, I have nothing else to say. Buy it if you're looking for a webcam for around about the $100 price range, just a little bit over than that. Definitely recommend it more than Meet 2. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. If you like videos like this, please like the video. If you want to see more from this channel, don't forget to subscribe. But until then, I will I'll catch you in the next one. I'll see you.